A teraz oddaję głos naszemu gościowi, panu Michaelowi Leathesowi, który powie o kształtowaniu pozycji mediatora w świetle doświadczeń światowych. Wystąpienie będzie prowadzone w języku angielskim, ale wszyscy Państwo otrzymaliście tłumaczenie przy wejściu na tą salę. Zapraszam.
Honourable Justices, mediators, ladies and gentlemen.
Proszę Państwa, Michael poprosił mnie o takie krótkie tłumaczenie tylko o części wstępnej, więc pozwolę sobie i proszę o wybaczenie za wszelkie niedociągnięcia. Szanowni Państwo sędziowie, mediatorzy, szanowni uczestnicy konferencji.
They teach you in mediation to remove barriers. I'm sorry? Sorry? They teach you in mediation to remove barriers.
W mediacjach uczymy, ażeby pozbywać się barier.
And also I have a physical inability to speak and stand still at the same time.
A ja niestety mam tę cechę, że nie mogę stać w jednym miejscu i mówić w tym samym czasie.
But I wish to begin with an apology which I would like you to understand in Polish.
Ale chciałbym najpierw wyrazić swoje przeprosiny, które chciałbym wyrazić po polsku, stąd to tłumaczenie.
I am half Polish.
W połowie jestem Polakiem.
My mother is Maria Mickiewicz.
Moja mama nazywa się Maria Mickiewicz.
And she's 90 next week.
W przyszłym tygodniu skończy 90 lat.
But she never taught me Polish. She never taught me my mother tongue.
Niestety nigdy nie nauczyła mnie polskiego.
So I do apologize to come to my motherland and speak in English.
Bardzo chciałam przeprosić za to, że przyjechałam do kraju, gdzie urodziła się moja mama i mówię tylko po angielsku.
But my heart is here.
Ale moje serce jest związane z Polską.
So thank you very much for interpreting. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been asked to speak about shaping the position of mediators in the light of international experience. And I have not come here to tell anybody in Poland how to do anything. Just going to speak about attitudes in the rest of the world. But let us begin in the center of the world, here where we are today. Because from here we can look out throughout the rest of the world. And if we do that, the world goes round us and we get a better view of what is going on everywhere else. And you will be surprised to know, perhaps, that Poland is probably further ahead in the acceptance of mediation than most other countries in the world. Winston Churchill said, "A pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity, and an optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty." And what he means is everything is about attitude. And I get the feeling, not only in Poland but around the world, that there's a certain attitude of difficulty about accepting mediation. Ronald Reagan, when he was president, said, All great change begins at the dinner table, meaning among families and friends. And we could actually think of mediation as a table. And a table with three main legs. Education and training, the professional status of mediators, and finally, promotion, understanding, acceptance. If we just think of those three legs, and we can increase all three of these things, the table will be higher and larger. So let's start with education and training, and I want to start with this. This is a book. The End of Lawyers, question mark. The critical part of this book is the question mark at the end of the title. Professor Susskind is one of the leading law professors in the UK, and he believes that the legal profession is on the edge of fundamental change. And he very convincingly explains why. Information technology, for example, the attitudes of clients, the needs of society. And he puts all these things together in a book which actually is the only book that I'm aware of that has about law, which has been serialized in a major national newspaper. It's not the only book. There is another one, also published 1 year ago, The New Lawyer, by a Canadian professor, Julie McFarlane. And what this book says is that the law schools are gradually teaching the young people who come out of university a different attitude. Attitudes of the 20th century are on the left, and the attitudes of the new lawyer are on the right. Satisfying needs instead of expressing desires, warning instead of threatening, dancing instead of stamping feet, a tough core instead of a tough appearance, a legal entrepreneur rather than just a legal expert, something much bigger, satisfying interests instead of just making claims, new trails instead of following what everybody else has done in the past. Single-minded is being replaced by a kaleidoscope of opportunity. Being more successful than winning half the cases that come to you. Not just being costly, much more important, being worth your money. But I just want to pick up the one I didn't mention, being obsessed by outcomes and not just process orientated. When I went through law school, I learned process. That's all I learned. And I came out as a lawyer, and all I knew was how to progress things through court. But these days, the young, particularly in an enlightened university like the University of Warsaw, whose tie I am proudly wearing, the Faculty of Law tie, it's teaching the young lawyers about outcomes and how to achieve them, because they have engaged into outcomes-based education. This is not just about knowledge, this is about the ability to achieve results and how to get there on behalf of the clients. And this is all inspired by an American study going back a few years now, the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching. It was not just about law, by the way. And it's about broadening the range of education. It's about integrating knowledge of law, in our case, with skills and values to achieve outcomes. So it's a change of attitude to problem solving. Something that lawyers have not in the past been taught exactly how to achieve. They have not been taught how to negotiate. And I have hired a lot of lawyers in my career, coming in to work with me. They come out of universities and law firms, and I have to be honest, I had to rewire them. I had to retrain them to achieve what I need them to achieve. They have the knowledge, but they don't have necessarily the skills to convert the knowledge into outcome. So I used to send them on mediation training programs, and 5-day programs. Most of them came back and said, Michael, I'm a different person. I've changed. I'm a better person. It's a very interesting change in attitude is what they mean. And I believe that negotiation and mediation, which is a development of negotiation, will become part of the curricula of university learning throughout the world in the next 10 years. And I believe it'll not just be for lawyers, but it'll be for all professions. And as we heard earlier, completely agree, it's vital that these skills are learned in our schools. It's about attitude. There are two types of training. There's mediation training and there's mediator training. Mediation training is about how and why mediation works, and mediator training is different. So mediation training is about helping judges to understand why and when and how mediation is a great option, because actually it isn't always a great option. And if judges are going to act as referrers of parties to mediation, they need some insight. I would say judges are probably the most important single influencing stakeholder in society. And also lawyers need to be trained how to represent their clients in a mediation, because it's a very different approach and attitude from representing them in court. There is a great book which I had the privilege of putting into perfect English. It's written in Dutch by a judge. It's called Referral to Mediation, and by a Dutch judge who was the vice president of the Court of Appeal in Arnhem in the Netherlands and in charge of the court connected program in the Netherlands. A remarkable woman, a remarkable judge, and she ended up as a judge by writing this book. She's now a full-time mediator, by the way. And Judge Pell's book is well worth encouraging somebody to translate into Polish. I do hope that happens. I learned so much from this book that I hadn't realized before about the art of referring, which includes finding the right mediators for the right cases. So mediator training is different from mediation training. It's about teaching practicing mediators the knowledge, skills, that they need to competently mediate, and it requires assessments of their skills, it requires qualifications, certifications, and because it is an experience-based profession, you become better at it as you do more of it. So post-qualification experience and capturing the learnings is fundamentally vital. So that's about education and training. That's one leg of the table.